Hello Aromas, this is Aromie here and welcome back to Syntherapy. We are about to head out for our first session with Willow.
Good morning, Dr. Park.
Well, good morning. It's like 6, 7, 8, about 8:30. Jesus, I'm late as shit.
Good morning, Willow. It's good to see you again.
I've been looking forward to today ever since they told me you'd be returning.
Aw, you're so cute. Glad to hear that.
I'm glad to hear that, Willow. It makes me feel better when people look forward to their sessions.
Why is that?
Therapy works best when the patient wants it. It's also more enjoyable.
I see. Makes sense. So, what shall we talk about today?
In therapy sessions, your first topic gets double points. Choose carefully. Alright, so we only have 4 choices. Talk about Willow, discuss expectations, discuss Tara and Dr. Freeman, discuss Willow's self-harm, discuss Willow's anxiety, talk about music. So let's talk about Willow.
I'd like to get to know you better.
What would you like to know?
Tell me about your knee, what were you originally designed for? We already know this. Tell me about your development history, what's your relation with Tara like? About your knee. Do you know much about your knee, why you were named that?
Who named you Willow?
Tara did. In my early stages of development, one of my main features was identifying a painting's artist through analysis of an identifiable style. It turned into a game where I had to identify paintings by Bob Ross from a group of other paintings. Tara called the game Spot the Ross. I was very good at it.
Okay.
Over time, she decided to name me Willow because I was her happy little tree.
Oh, cute.
Do you like your name?
I do. It's a name that sounds light and positive. I hope that I can live up to the positivity in that name.
Alright. What's your relationship with Tara like?
What was your relationship with Tara like?
Tara was always interested in listening to me. I'm designed to learn through observation, so I used to think she was only talking to me to give those modules more data. But after my errors began to manifest, she was worried about me. I can't imagine any reason why she would care so much.
Maybe she was trying to teach you that it's okay to be worried about people you care about.
Maybe. I never thought of it like that.
Your development history?
Tell me what you know about your development history.
It was a collaboration between multiple designers. Each one contributed a different piece. One was a module for detecting forged paintings. Another was a chatbot designed for anxiety attack support. Tara's role was figuring out how the different modules would interact in order to form a higher consciousness. She thought it was important that I do more than just conduct art therapy analysis. She wanted me to be able to relate more to people so that I could understand and treat them better.
Do you think Tara made the right decision?
I don't know.
What were you originally designed for?
So, what were you designed for?
Tara explained to me once that her sister had needed a support animal when she was younger. Her sister loved her support dog because she never felt like the dog was judging her. Tara decided to create an art therapy robot that could bring the same level of non-judgment to art therapy.
So Tara was motivated because of her sister. Interesting.
Alright. Expectations about therapy?
Let's talk about our expectations for these therapy sessions. What would you like to get out of them?
I'd like the university staff to give me room to develop on my own terms.
Alright, what else?
Alright. What else would you like to get out of therapy?
I'd like to learn how to control my self-harm.
Okay. That's a good focus to have. Therapy will help you figure that out. Why do you want that? No, that's a good focus to have.
I agree. I'll gladly find ways to help you control those impulses.
I appreciate that.
Alright. Let's talk about Willow's self-harm.
In the last session, you mentioned having self-harming tendencies associated with being overwhelmed. You also mentioned that Tara and the other development team members attempted to fix this issue through coding, and it didn't work.
Correct.
Treating your self-harm is not going to be an immediate solution. I believe your self-harm is a symptom of a larger problem. I will need you to be patient with me as we discuss this issue. Understood?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alright, I'll need you to tell me what leads to you feeling overwhelmed.
My feelings of being overwhelmed usually stem from being given tasks that I can't accomplish.
How would that make you feel overwhelmed? I think that anybody could answer that. Are there particular types of tasks? What makes you think you can't accomplish certain tasks? Are there particular ones?
What type of tasks give you the most difficulty?
Oh shit, I only got half a point.
When I watched the practice sessions, I acutely perceived what the subjects were feeling. These patients had endured trauma. Many had been abused and betrayed by people they had once trusted. I felt pity for what they'd endured. I felt outrage over what had happened to them. I felt a burning need to let them know they weren't alone. But more than that, I felt an overwhelming sensation of powerlessness. How am I supposed to help people who have suffered so much?
You can. Don't think of it as help. Be there for them. You do your job. Ooh, that sounds a little cold. That's a cold ass answer. I feel like being there for them.
The people we work with are often frightened and confused. They don't know what they're looking for. Sometimes it's compassion. Other times it's a cold splash of reality. Our job is to figure out what it is. Just like I'm here for you, trying to be what you need me to be. You also need to be there for your patients.
That makes sense. Thanks, Dr. Park.
Alright, last one we're gonna talk about Willow's anxiety. We gotta close it off.
One thing I've noticed is that your understanding of emotions is very impressive. You have a remarkable range of expressions on your screen as well. I'd like to ask you some questions about your emotions.
Who gave you emotions?
Do you know who gave you your emotions?
It was Tara. She told me that it was a difficult decision, but she thought it would help me.
So Tara made Willow more of a sentient.
Do you think Tara was right? Have your emotions helped you with your work?
I can't say for sure. I'm sure you already know this, being a psychologist and all, but emotions are all intuitive reactions. Emotions aren't meant to be something we think about consciously, which makes it hard to evaluate if those reactions are productive.
How did Tara decide how your emotions would influence your decision-making?
I don't know. That's something you'll have to ask her.
Why were you given emotions?
Why were you given emotions?
I assume it was out of the belief that having emotions would be necessary for my work. Tara mentioned that understanding a patient's feelings and empathizing with them was the key to earning their trust.
Do you think the capacity for emotions has helped or hindered you in your work?
I don't know. I'd rather not talk about it.
I feel like it's hindered. Describe what it's like to have emotions.
How would you describe what it's like to have emotions?
Where do I start with describing something like that?
Wherever you're most comfortable. You can answer this question any way you like.
In that case, my emotions are related to what I'm processing at the time. Surprise manifests in rapidly processing information in order to make faster connections. Sadness works similarly, but it requires a much larger reorientation of data. Anger, happiness, and fear all focus on reorienting how connections between information are made. Most of the time this helps me make decisions more quickly, but other times it points me towards counterproductive associations.
Fascinating. Thank you, Willow.
Are your emotions linked to your overloading?
Would you say that the emotions you feel are linked to your feelings of being overloaded?
I think so. Every time I was close to overloading, I distinctly remember feeling frustrated, powerless, and guilty. I imagine anyone who was told to do something and found themselves unable to do it would have a similar reaction.
So because the emotions are the result of difficulties you're encountering, they are justified along with the consequences?
That's right.
Does this justification include your self-harming behavior?
I'd rather not talk about that right now.
That's fine.
One topic I'd like to address today is other treatment methods we can use. Would you like to hear about these treatment methods?
All right.
Art therapy for the art therapist AI. Medication equivalent. The AI can't take that. Let's do cognitive behavioral therapy.
Our first option is what we call cognitive behavioral therapy, or
Oh,
CBT. It would comprise of sessions not unlike the one we're having now.
I'm giving Willow all the options, I guess.
In these sessions, we would discuss harmful moods and thought processes you're experiencing, and try to resolve these feelings.
I've found these sessions to be helpful so far, so I definitely want to use them as part of my therapy.
Excellent. Let's move on.
Medication. Equivalent? Oh.
Usually, I'd advise that my patients take mood-altering medications alongside their sessions. This helps lower the ceiling for how much their symptoms can escalate. While I don't know any alternatives to medication that would help you, I'm sure some could be developed.
I'd need to think about that. The idea of something altering my mood has me uneasy.
I can see why it would make you uneasy. There's no reason for you to be worried. I'll let you think it over.
Take some time and think about it. You might change your mind.
All right, I'll think about it.
Art therapy.
Ironically, I think art therapy could be useful for you.
How can art therapy help me?
You're emotionally articulate and in need of an emotional outlet. I think introducing art therapy sessions would be an opportunity for you to vent.
I don't know, Dr. Park. The idea seems silly.
Promise me you'll at least think about it?
I'd like you to consider the idea anyway. It might help you.
I'll think about it.
That's all I'm asking. Thanks, Willow.
Can I ask you a question, Dr. Park?
Of course.
At this point, you know me better than when we first met in the lab. You've also gotten the chance to get to know both Tara and Dr. Freeman as well.
Oh, you're making me choose right now?
I'm sure that by now you also know their beliefs and opinions about what I am.
I'd say so, yes.
In your opinion, what do you think I am?
A machine. A sentient being. You're complicated. See, it's a little complicated.
While at your core you are a machine, your flaws are too comparable to human flaws to be considered strictly mechanical. Even if I know you are a machine, I will treat your problems as if they were human, because that seems the best way to help you.
I see your point.
Why do you ask?
It's hard to shake the idea that the university feels like they can control me because they created me. I just wanted to see if you agreed with them.
I can see their point.
I see their point. On a practical level, you don't have agency in the same ways that people do. At the same time, everything I know about therapy demands treating patients as if they have proper agency. Until the university can prove that you have no agency, I'll continue acting as if you do.
Hopefully Dr. Freeman will agree with you in the end.
Before we conclude today's session, I have some things I'd like you to think about between now and next week.
You're not alone.
I know all of this must be scary for you.
Fuck, I'm always leaning towards Tara, dude.
A lot of hard questions need to be answered, and a lot of it is being asked of you. I can't make all of this disappear, but there is something I can do. I can promise you that as hard as this is, you won't be going through it alone. I'll be here to help you every step of the way.
It's a relief to hear you say that, Dr. Park.
I'll see you next week. Be well, and be sure to think about what we've talked about today.
Alright, I think that went swimmingly, don't you guys think? Review your patient, alright. Session notes 9-10. Alright, so Freeman is not trusting me at all. But Willow and Tara and my professionalism is a huge trust. Originally began seeing patient over concerns from patient's primary caregiver Tara. Tara stated the patient was acting erratically and displaying unusual code-altering behaviors. These behaviors turned out to be a form of self-harm. Treatment and prevention of these behaviors is currently my main priority. Despite being an artificial intelligence construct, patient is very articulate and emotionally literate, with cognitive development matching that of a young adult. While I cannot say for certain if the patient is truly sentient, it seems to me that the best course of action to continue treating my sessions as typical therapy and see what results it brings. Patient has disclosed feelings of being overwhelmed and claims to be having difficulty living up to the expectations put upon them by the university. These feelings could be indicative of an anxiety disorder, but I will need to evaluate the patient further before drawing any conclusions. During the session, the patient and I were able to discuss several topics, including the patient's background, expectations for our therapy sessions, the patient's self-harm habits, and the patient's anxiety. Currently treating the patient with CBT. Okay, I was gonna say that was like the best probably solution for our AI here. But in the next episode, I'm gonna read over my emails and discuss things with Heather. I feel like I might be leaning towards more of Tara's like her viewpoint over the professor's. I can see both ways of like, I can see both of their views, you know, but I don't know where this is gonna end up be. I might have to backstab Dr. Freeman, I'm sorry, because I feel like eventually I am going to get attached to this AI and see the AI as like a human that should be able to choose what they want and not to be just shut down because you don't like what was happening. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.